This will be a quick video on how to set up and use the grid method, which is what we're going to be using in our Zentangle drawing. Now, most of you that were in class did the Mario grid practice before we started the Zentangle, but if you have not, here is a quick rundown of how you will do that. So the first thing that you'll do, whether it's on the Mario or preferably your animal reference photo, is that on the edge of the image itself, not the edge of the big paper, but the edge of the image, you're going to use a ruler to make marks every single inch. So this one has already been done, but essentially what that would look like, if I were to draw that, you'd end up with a series of marks on all four sides near the edge of the image that are at 4 inches, or at every single inch. Okay, so I don't need to go around and do that. But once you'd completed that step, then you would take those marks that are directly across from each other horizontally and vertically and connect them using a ruler. And what that does is form a grid over the top of your image. Now, this grid is quite a bit blown up, but it is a 1 inch grid that's over the top of this. And then you would also make a grid on your drawing paper. Okay, so for example, let's just pretend that this one is your large 12 by 18 drawing paper. On the very edge of that drawing paper, instead of making a mark every inch like we did on your reference photo, you would make a mark every 2 inches. So instead of 1, 2, 3, you would be going 2, 4, 6, 8, so on and so forth. Okay, so the process is still the same. Make your marks on all four sides, and then once that's complete, use a ruler or straight edge to connect those lines across from each other horizontally and vertically. Right. So what you should end up with is then another grid, empty grid, but obviously double the size of your reference photo. Now, how the grid method works is you are going to look where your image crosses any of these reference grid lines. So, for example, how I would start the grid method on this is I'm looking at where Mario's hat crosses this line. Okay, so this spot right here. And your job then is to decide where is that spot on your drawing paper. So if I'm looking from just this grid box, from the top of the grid box to the bottom of the grid box, where does this line fall? Is it right in the middle? Is it closer to the bottom? Is it closer to the top? And I would say it's close to the middle, but just above that. So it's a bit closer to the top. So on your drawing paper, you're going to find where you feel that spot is and make a mark. Then you're going to find another spot on your image where it crosses a reference line, and we'll use this one right here on the front of his hat. So it's just to the right of this intersection is where that crosses. So again, we go to our drawing paper and we find that spot. And now basically we're playing connect the dots. We have two reference points here and here, and we're going to try and mimic this curved line that connects them. So what the grid method does is it breaks this up into manageable chunks. Instead of thinking about, oh my goodness, I need to draw Mario, then it changes it to, okay, all I have to do is draw from here to here and try and mimic this line. Now, once you've kind of played that connect the dots game, you're going to find the next reference point in the line. So here, the hat is kind of traveling out in front, and it crosses this line here, right under that same intersection we've been working on. So again, find that one, and then take a look at what type of line is it. Is it straight? Is it curved? What direction does it go? And that's a pretty easy one. It's pretty short, so that just crosses here. And again, you can make reference points on places that aren't connected to a line. So for example, I like to make a reference point, a little dot where I think the tip of the hat is, as well as this little corner right here where the hat kind of touches the face. So I'm going to try and find those two spots in my drawing here. And you can kind of use the direction of the hat to point out there. And then as I'm looking at that other dot that I made, it is lower than this dot, okay, and it is to the right of this one. Okay, so I'm always comparing where these locations are. So on my drawing, it's lower and it's to the right, and I'll make a dot. That way I have a couple of reference points and I can play connect the dots and get that reference going. Okay, so obviously you would continue in that manner, kind of making a series of reference points for yourself and then connecting each of them until you kind of had the entire perimeter or the very outside edge of your human done. okay, of your face. The next step after that would be looking for facial features, okay, and I'll make a separate video on that.